All right, here we are. Okay, my level should be good. How's everybody doing? I think I'm seeing everything going on in the chat and YouTube controls here. But yeah, this is the second time that I have been. This is the second time that I've been week in a row that I've been working on being consistent, and I know it's a bit of a difference going from a Tuesday night live stream to a Sunday, but a lot of people said that a Tuesday night, some of them could make Tuesday night okay, but Sunday was the night that people could do better. And of course, it's going to take time for people to just, be adjusted to the whole thing. But this is what I'm going to be doing for. This is what I'm going to be doing for this point forward, because I'm wanting to be more consistent on here. Going, pardon me, going live has been a great way to be able to interact with my audience and in real time, at least as real time as I possibly can. I'd love to get out there and do shows more often, but that's just going to be something I'll be working up to. Couple things that I want to do. So tonight, I was thinking of doing some reaction videos, but I'm probably just going to hold off on those until a little later. What I wanted to do to kind of mix up how things have been since from the last two live streams is that I want to work on a new song. I've been wanting to for a while anyway, because my next release is in the can. It's ready to go. Like, everything on that is finished except for a few promotional materials. Outside of that, everything is finished. So with that being the case, I've worked so much on YouTube content, and I've done things like, work on promotional materials and all this other stuff for my most recent release, which will have the first single come out in March. I'm really excited for that. But I love doing music creation, and so I wanted to get back to doing that. And so might as well kill two birds with one anvil on this. More of a Looney Tunes take on a classic idiom. But anyway, a couple of things that I want to get out of the way first before we do this is I am wanting to, like I said, get a few announcements, I guess, out of the way. So one of the first things is that I realize that my website did not have items available. Just about all items except for digital were not available on my website, which was the Square-based storefront. And that was quite infuriating. I tried to work on fixing that, and it didn't. So I am officially done with Square as far as a digital storefront is concerned. It's done well for a point of sale. I've been using it at my live shows all the time. But now I am, at least for the time being, I'm going to be having Bandcamp as the singular place for my online store. And I do plan on getting a different storefront, because there's a lot of things that people like. There's so many music distribution platforms out there that are getting bought out, overtaken by major labels and so forth, and it's starting to get claustrophobic with the fact that you can't get away from these outlets. You can't get away from these major things, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before they come for Bandcamp too. So Bandcamp is going to be a merch outlet. Right now it's the sole place for it, but I'm not going to rely on that solely. I will be looking for another storefront, but it has to meet certain criteria that I require. Another announcement that I have that is of people's interest. So I have now got an affordable way to have my music out on vinyl. And this is through a company called Elastic Stage. There you are. You can see some of the branding over there. But Elastic Stage, it's a vinyl on-demand company over in the UK. And they're able to make it to where vinyl on demand is much, much cheaper, which means that I can offer it at a cheaper price. I was using Art Glider for a while, and it got the job done if you wanted a record, but I had to charge insanely high prices for it because, you know, people would have to buy the vinyl for basically $50 if I was going to be breaking even, and then they'd have to pay for shipping. In fact, in many ways, I'd be losing money if people were to buy vinyl. So this makes it a lot more economical. You could see $29.90 USD, and that's about another $10 on there for shipping, especially since it's coming through the UK. But that's still that's at least $20 less than what you'd be paying through the other provider. I would like to have it to where I don't have near as many, like I could have my own stock of vinyl in-house, and then I could charge even less for it. But you have to have so much money up front for that. I have plans on how to procure that, but at the very least, I would need another $400 hanging around in my pocket. That being said, if you don't want to go through the Elastic Stage link that's over here to buy it through them and the order be placed through them, you can always buy it through Bandcamp. I have it right here, available on the Vengeance is Mine page. And right now, it's only going to be Vengeance is Mine that is available on vinyl. I will work on getting some other releases available as well, but that's all I have for now. I wanted to make that little announcement there so that if people were interested. So, with that out of the way, what we're going to be doing for tonight is we are going, as the title suggests, I am going to be writing a new song, and it's going to be, I'm going to see how much I can get done in 2 hours. Where's Logic? Here it is. All right, here we go. So I've got a template set up. I'm just about ready to go. I'm going to remove some things from the dock so it's not so crowded. Yada, yada, yada. And as you can see, I have nothing put down for this. I have an idea, and I'm going to try to actualize that during this stream, and people can come on and off and see how the progress is, and I hope everybody enjoys. Take a sip of coffee from the Firebrand mug that you can also get on Bandcamp. And I will also be polishing it off with some own design in this tumbler. This also available on the merch store. Good for both hot and cold beverages. It comes with a metal straw. I don't typically use those, but if you like that, you can have that. And the Drag Me Down tumbler also comes with a digital download of the single. That's with it as well. All right, so enough yapping. I'm going to get rid of those here. Enough yapping. Let's get to work on a new song. Let's see what this... Okay. Let's start off with trying to put some bass together because I have a riff idea, but I don't want to try and actualize it first until I know exactly what it sounds like in a certain BPM. So, just a second. That is a very long note. Let's see. Let's hear what that sounds like at 120. Okay. Have that repeat. There we go. Okay. And then let's get some drums for that, so we can, oh wait, this is the wrong channel. Where'd the ML drums go? That's not what I wanted. ML drums. Stereo, multiple output. We're going to go with the metalcore preset. Well, that stinks. Hold on a second. I thought I still had that as the template. Gonna set up the drums real quick so it's not difficult to work with. So we got the kick, snare, toms. Let's see. Okay, that's the crash. And then that's the hi-hat. And then I'm guessing oh, this must be the ride. Oh, wait, okay. Okay. Crash. Hi-hat. Ride. Then this is room and reverb. Okay. It was a little confusing because they auto-filled the names there, and it was a little confusing. All right, so cool. And this is just writing. I'm not necessarily going to stylize how it looks or how it sounds as it goes. That'll be after the writing and the skeleton is done for this whole thing, but this at least gives me an idea as to how the final product's going to turn out. Cool. Oh, let's bring that up a little bit. I don't know why that equalizer is that way. Here, let me cut those. And I am going to save that as, or I'm going to save this template because I'm a little surprised that it actually was not as put together as I expected it to. Let's see. Let's mess around with this a little more. So we got so that would be an intro, and then this I think would be I'll space everything out a little more for a verse so that there's kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say a call and response with the instruments and the vocals, but one would get out of the way to make the other more noticeable. So let's see. So for this, and I would get rid of this, at least for that section of the verse. And then for the drums, you know, I didn't intend for that syncopation to be there, but honestly, I feel like that kind of works. I might leave that. I might not keep for now. And then I'm gonna delete that half, replace it with that. Now let's see. Let's just see what feels right with this. So this should, let's see, let's chop that in half. And okay, so let's use that last part. Okay. Hey, what's up, Steven? Samick Productions. Yo, this looks complicated, but sounds cool, though. Kind of. I mean, really, it's going to require a little bit of finger maneuvering whenever it comes to the guitars, but I think I can do this. It's honestly no more complicated than how that riff for Fragment goes. In fact, I think it's going to be the same notes. So it's like, it's got to be pretty close, although I am writing this in drop C. Oh yeah, better change this as well. It's a pitch shifter. That way the guitars don't start jarringly different from each other. I don't even know if I'll use that. So we got, that's an intro. This is going to be a verse. I'm getting a feeling of like, so like Fade Away by Cell Dweller and gosh, it's a Static X song that's coming to my mind, and I'm blanking on what the title is. Well, another one that kind of has a similar chorus is Kill Your Idols, but that wasn't the initial song that was coming to mind. But you get the idea, though. So, let's see. And the intro, maybe it could afford to repeat a little more, so the intro and the verse have equal time, and I might keep that or I might not. So there's the verse. I don't know if this should have a pre-chorus or not. Nah, I'm just how I'm figuring it out in my head. It just kind of seems like it'd be good to go right into it. And probably just some open power chords that are like a measure long, and it starts at the bottom and then goes up and then goes back to the bottom and then goes to another note that really kind of pulls some tension. So And then, let's see. We're going to do a groovy 4 on the floor for this. Because it is, after all, a chorus. We need crashes doing quarter notes because this has to make it feel big. And then let's see. Was double timing on the snare, so we kind of get it kind of serves as a halfway marker between the chorus. Yeah, something like that. Something simple like that, because we don't need something too crazy just in the middle of the chorus. We just need something that kind of serves as a halfway point. And then it'll repeat once again. And then let's double time it. Let's just do a full snare roll and everything, and like have it build up into. We'll have a do full snare roll and it'll go right into the intro. And we already have we already have most of the song repeated within a traditional song formula, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that seamlessly transitions over, so that'll work out really well. Just a moment. I'm trying to open up another window in. Trying to open up another window on the OBS here. Here we go, the control panel. Cool. Alrighty, so we're about half an hour in, and we got 2/3 of a song written, or at least we have a structure. So with that being the case, I guess I can do guitars. Well, let's figure out something for a bridge, because those are usually one of the places that are the hardest to come up with, at least for me anyway. Some people seem to be all right with coming up with bridges for a song. For me, it's like, for me, it's like, it's a little bit rough. Oh, I realize I mislabeled the live stream. Oh, man. Well, here. Can I edit it now? Oh, okay, cool. All right, save. Okay. So, hopefully that changed the stream name real time. I'm still working on this. Okay, so let's see. Gosh, so what direction do I want to take for that? It's changed. Okay, thank you, Steven. Um, so what do I want? It's what direction do I want to go for the bridge? I could go something that's like particularly like super heavy, but I don't know. This feels like it needs a singing bridge. So you know what? Let's just go for it. Hold on. So this is gonna be a really weird, like it's gonna feel like it suddenly changed time signatures, but it didn't. That's just what I'm feeling in my head right now. I might keep it, I might not. I might toss it after waking up in the morning and thinking, what was I thinking? But let's see. Let's try to find the ride on this. There we go. So like I said, this is going to be a weird, like the emphasis that it hits on is going to be in a weird spot. But like this is what I'm feeling, man. I feel like if I think about it too much, I overcomplicate things. So I'm just kind of cooking right now. I'm like, I'm locking in for some reason, and it's like I had nothing. Like I had nothing that kind of got me into this mode. I just started. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's have some tom rolls. Bring down the velocity. And then we come in with the chorus. Take that, stick it there. Cool. Let's have the chorus repeat. I just feel like that's appropriate for right now. It's going to be a relatively short song, but I mean, as long as it just leaves you feeling satisfied that, you know, it had everything you were looking for. Let's see. Let's have some more tom hits, but this time it'll be dum. Dum dum. Cool. And then we can end it off with the intro. Oh, did I? I did. I somehow copied that and it cut off the... That's not what I want. Come on. Okay. So we're going to copy the chorus once again, put it in the right spot. And then we will have the outro, or the intro that becomes the outro. And that's going to put us at 2 minutes and 44 seconds of a song. And if you factor in the silence, only 4 more seconds. So it's going to be a pretty short song. And I have an idea, like this being this last part of the intro riff to kind of be... That's not going to add much at all to the length of the song. So this is going to be a short song, but it sounds like it's going to be cool. All right, give me just a moment. I'm going to plug in my guitar, and I will get some riffs going. Plug this bad boy in. Oh, and it's probably going to need to be tuned. So I apologize in advance for anybody who's got to listen to this. Metering tuner. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, that is horrible. That is horribly out of tune. All right, grabbing a pick. All right. All right. Trying to get that as locked in as I possibly can. All right. Yeah, and if you're just hearing it in the left ear and you're wondering what the heck's going on, you're not going crazy. I have that panned already, so. All right, let's try this out. I have not practiced this at all, as you can probably tell. So, turn up the gain on that just a little bit. Turn that on. Oh, wait, I need to turn the pitch shifter back on. It's interesting how, there we go. It's interesting how it seems like OBS doesn't actually pick up the plugins that I'm using. Interesting. Okay. I'm feeling it out here. My problem is when I play a riff, I tend to try and want to play it faster than it actually goes. So I'm working on it. Okay. Come on. All right, let's try that again, because I'm starting to lock in here. still having to figure out how to switch between those things, but... But if nothing else... I can just... Whoops. I don't know why it won't play back. Nope. Getting there, but it's a little tricky. I will get it. Got it. All right, so now we go to the right ear. There we go. Hold on. I'm weird. I can't, if I hear one thing in the other ear, I cannot concentrate on what the other ear's doing. Okay. Now, I just rewrote that riff, so give me but a second, and I will be amending that. Whoops. All right, so the bass is working with the guitar now. That was bad. That was bad. Nah. I can get this. Okay, so okay, so let's hear this together, and I'm going to be using the third recordings for the riffs there. Cool. All right, so that takes care of the intro and our... Hold on. I gotta get one more recording for that left ear one more time because it just is not quite locked in. How was that? That sounded better. Oh, yeah, I just noticed I'm gonna have to re-record this section as well. That's okay. So I'll get rid of those little dead spots there. and then re-record these. So cool. Come on. And now I'm just gonna kind of move some stuff around. Doop, 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 doop. And then replace that with this. Cool. So now, so let's see. Nice. All right, so there's that. And then we can go to the chorus. Am I already getting out of tune on here? Not too bad. Dinner's ready. I'm gonna head out. All right, man. You have a good one. I will see you guys. I will talk to you guys sometime soon. I might change that to... Yeah, I might change it to that. But let's try this out first. Yeah, I feel like that note change would be better. So let's have so got the verses and the chorus, and then we copy pasta, as Nick Nocturnal says. Whoops. Boom. All right, so then the next question is, yeah, I mean, this is really just 16th notes. Let's see. I think this needs to have an alternate note. So yeah, let's just kind of go with that. Whoops. Okay. Rushing it. I know I'm starting too early on that. I'm rushing it. That actually is pretty good. So Make sure I chop that off at the right spot. Honestly, it's like the right ear got locked in all the better. Well, now I got to go back and re-record the left ear because the right ear almost like absolutely nailed it. I talk about the ears as if they're the ones that do it. Hold on. Okay. Let's try that one more time with the left ear because that was actually pretty close. Whoops. That was horrible. Okay, that felt pretty good. That felt pretty solid. Okay, that second part wasn't locked in, but that first part wasn't bad at all. I'm getting there. Whoops, started too late. Nope. Oh, we're close. There we go. So then we can, and then we'll bring in the chorus once again. And then the intro. Oh yeah, and we had that transition. How'd it go? Okay, that's how it'll go. Whoops. right? Oh, wait, no. Whoops. Let's try this one more time. There we go. And then we get the other ear. There we go. Got that weird rhythm going on, but I think it works to add some character to the song. All right, now let's... I'm going to take this guitar off now since I don't have any more use for it. All right, just unplug that. All righty. So, what do we got in terms of the structure here? Not bad. Roughly how the song flows and everything. Like I said, this is really just me making stuff up as I go. So, not even quite sure exactly, how all this will turn out. I'm saving this. I'm just gonna call it Idolatry right now. Just because Kill Your Idols is from Static X is kind of a, kind of an inspiration on this. Let's see. I'm going to play around with some synths and everything, but I'm really, I used a good amount of creative energy to make this, so I'm just going to play around a little bit. But once I'm done, I'm done. Let's see. This, I feel like, would be good movement for the chorus. Yeah, that sounds great. And it adds a lot of good tension where you have like the chords that are ringing out, but you got the synths that's moving about, and they're not changing the root notes. So that add some tension to it. I'm already liking how that's sounding. Cool. Let's see. This, I feel like there's two things that I think it needs. There needs to be some sort of like nasty bass synth that undergirds the guitars. So layering those two together would be fun. Actually, I'm going to do that later. Let's get some sounds going on in here. And you're not going to see this window, but I'm going to go into a sound library that I have. You're probably going to hear all the sounds that I'm playing around in. Just throw that in there. So this fits perfectly in a... And then we need... I want something like an alarm sound. You know what? I just came across something I feel like is a better background noise. Let's see. Let's play around with this sound. First I'd like to mess with the timing of it if I can do that non-destructively. Let's see. Length. Functions. I might need to go into the actual... Let's see about what I can do as far as timing is concerned. Invert, reverse, trim, fade in, change gain, time and pitch machine. Tempo. No. I don't feel like that works as well as now that I've heard it a couple times, but let's hear how that sounds. It's not in rhythm, but it's something. Let's see. Nah, those are some beats, but I'm not really looking for something like that. Let's see. Those are like drum samples, but that's not what I'm looking for. No. No. Let's see. For, I don't know, maybe for a background noise instead, I should probably just, let's look around for a synth. Something more like a soundscape. That's way too quiet. Come on. Let's search this synth preset. I know you guys can't see it, so I'm sure some of you are kind of like so you guys are maybe a little confused as to what's working here. Let's see. I'm just trying some sounds out. Sounds like we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. That's hardly doing anything. So let's go to bone metal again. Honestly, I like that sound better. So let's just get that as like this drone that's going on in the background. And we'll split that in two. All right, so we'll get that going. Then industrial likes to have a lot of sounds that almost act as a second layer of percussion. I'm gonna go to a site real quick. Let's see. Pixabay, let's go to there. Sound effects, alarm. Let's see. Oop, that's not the alarm. Those are the frog farts. That's what I've always heard. That's what I've always heard, like my news. Okay, we're getting close. Nope. Not quite there. I apologize for anybody who might be startled by these sudden alarm bursts. Nope. That's not the type of alarm I'm looking for. Okay, let's go back. Alarm clock. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for either. Let's go back. Not bad. No. I just had it. There was one that was fairly usable. Was it on the second page? Yeah, I think it's that biohazard alarm, so I'm gonna download that real quick. Get that into my sound effects folder. And then drop that in here. Sound effects, biohazard alarm. Chop it to where it's only one. Okay, that's not starting at the time I want it to, so I'm going to trim it. Cut it right about there, and then I'm gonna use the fade tool. Okay, I don't know if I'll have it going left to right or just staying in the same ear. I'm gonna try that. These need to be moved over just a little bit because they're still not. Only 3 hits. Okay, so I think like that's about as far as I think we were able to get in this session. There is something that I'm wanting to. There's still a little bit of time left in the time slot, and I think I could still probably get a reaction in. But this is something that I've been rather I'm curious about because I've heard talk about changes happening in when it comes to streaming and stuff like that, and so So I'm looking to see like what people's takes on here because it looks like there was a recent Spotify and UMG deal that could really change the way that music is consumed, and it could potentially really hurt us independent artists. So I have not seen this video, but I would like to react to it with you guys if that is something that you'd be cool with. So I'm going to switch over to this. And this is, I'm reacting to Top Music Attorney here. She is a lawyer and a musician, so she's kind of got this on both ends, and she knows what she's talking about if anybody did. So here we go. Let me get this window a little shaped up a little better for you guys. So let's take a look at what this industry professional's take on what the upcoming Streaming 2.0 is looking like and we're independent artists going forward from here. I've not watched this video before, so this is a blind reaction, and I'm sure this will be new information for you guys too. Oh, hold on. There we go.
Spotify and Universal have linked a licensing agreement. This is streaming 2.0. We have their business plan. I'm just wondering, how much is this really going to benefit the artist and how much is it just going to benefit the label? Does that mean that there's preferential treatment now for the Universal artists and so everyone else is going to get crushed? Spotify just announced a huge update, and its latest move, well, we're concerned. Is it going to leave independent artists behind?
My speculation is that it's going to, because Music Group and Spotify, and this is already going to make me suspect that this is just going to be a deal that benefits Universal Music Group artists, if I'm just going off of first impressions here with little to no information. But let's continue.
It's confirmed now that Spotify and Universal have a new deal, and this is a direct agreement. It must be so nice as a major label to like have a direct agreement with Spotify, but they came up with one, and this is with the publishing side of Universal. Now, there's so many implications for you music creators on what this means, because what's being said is that this is like an innovation of streaming. This is streaming 2.0.
Not like streaming was all that good of a deal to begin with anyway. I mean, to be fair, Universal Music Group and Spotify already have deals together because Spotify needs to go into a licensing deal with Universal Music Group, Sony, and Warner in order to be able to get the artists on their catalog onto Spotify in the first place. And it's the fact that that Spotify has to pay outrageous licensing fees to the big three record labels, that Spotify doesn't have much in a pool to be able to pay their artists anyway, which, yes, artists on streaming platforms in general have a pool to be able to distribute the money from. Like, that's how it makes the streaming economy is so different from, music distribution as a whole, because there is a pie that musicians have to basically compete for, which is pretty messed up,
as Universal puts it. And what's interesting is that Universal relays and discloses what their plan is for 2025 to make as much money as possible. And it's something that's going to benefit you to know as well. We, in fact, have their business plan, and we're going to take a quick look at it. Now, for context, we've talked about Universal in a whole bunch of ways recently. We talked about Drake alleging that Universal was in cahoots with Spotify for Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar song, and boosting plays, right? We talked about how the Mechanical Licensing Collective is suing Spotify because of this bundling. Okay, and that's a part of it. Let's recap on just kind of where we're at right now. All right, so it's confirmed. We have a new deal. So it's official. Spotify and Universal have linked a multi-year licensing agreement. This came as somewhat of a surprise because here's the thing. Universal comes on in and is like, hey, we weren't cool with Spotify doing this bundling thing that got them sued in the first place. And as part of this deal, the bundling aspect is now not going to be a problem. That's great for Universal. Okay. So it means that essentially Universal's publishing side is going interested in independent artists and independent creators. I go, well, there's only one pool of royalties with Spotify. So I go, if you're telling me, woohoo, we did a deal between Universal and Spotify, Universal is going to get paid more. That means everyone else is going to get paid less. And let's go back to this. So the chairman and CEO of Universal said, quote, when we first presented our vision for next stage in the evolution of music subscription several months ago, streaming 2.0, this is precisely the kind of partnership development we envisioned. I don't want to be a hater. It's cool. Like, Universal is a giant, giant company, one of the biggest record labels in the world. And I just go, like, having these wins and then having the label say, this is so great for our artists, we're so artist-centric and driven. I go, how's that? We know that the deals that these artists do with major record labels is for a very minimal amount of royalties. And most of the time, the artists are not actually receiving those royalties until some very, 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 very far distant future.
Oh yeah, for those who are not aware of how that usually works, there's so nowadays it's more like 10 to 12% royalty rates for artists, but that has to be paid to the artists after the advance that the label has given to the artist for the production and distribution and marketing budget of the album that has been produced has been recouped. And most of the time when it comes to renting equipment, hiring a producer for studio time, a mixing engineer, mastering engineer, and then you have graphic art, you pay graphic artists, the packaging, the distribution to physical stores, which, you know, it's still a thing, even if physical media is not what it was. And then there's the digital distribution and so on and so forth. Like, once you get all those factors in, it's a pretty hefty bill that artists are going to be paying out of 10 to 12%, so 10 to 12 cents on the dollar per sale in order to pay that. That's more than what it used to be. I hear that it used to be points that would be the royalty rate that would go to artists. So that would be 8% of 85%. When you do the math, it's about 6.86%, which is, it's measly. And that's not, I wouldn't call that an artist-centric deal. Independent labels do like a 50-50 profit share, but those don't have near the reach of these labels that are either the big three or subsidiaries of the big three. So how in the world is this going to be more artist-centric and artist-friendly? And why should independent people like me care when it's just more money for you, the label, and your artists that are on your roster?
And we just covered how Limp Bizkit, a band that signed in the 90s with Universal, as of today, 30 years later, right, has still never received any royalties whatsoever. Because
Allegedly,
the label's
of
like,
course.
oh no, we spent so much money, we're still recouping for a band that has done that well, right? So in any case, going back, the CEO of Universal, very excited. We're so artist-centric. This is going to help to monetize for artists and songwriters, okay? And then, of course, Spotify's founder and CEO, Daniel Ek, said, quote, "For nearly 2 decades, Spotify has made good on its commitments to return the music industry to growth, ensuring that we deliver record payouts to the benefit of artists and songwriters each year."
I'm sorry, record payouts. For folks like me who are trying to build an audience, we're not getting paid at all. Because now Spotify's got a whole thing where if you don't get in 65-day period, you are not eligible to get monetized on that song. And it's after 1,000 plays within that calendar year. I say calendar year, but ever since when the song gets posted, that's when the 365-day clock starts. And then, you know, you have to get 1,000 streams, and then on 1,001, you start getting paid that third of a cent. But then there's another caveat to that. Those streams have to come from a unspecified amount of unique listeners. So, in other words, 5 people can't stream the song 200 times and that count. But what's even worse is Spotify does not specify a certain threshold that's allowable. So we're not even sure. We don't have any confirmation that 500 people streaming the song 2 times would count towards that. I mean, that sounds more realistic, but the fact of and for people like me who are trying to build an audience and try to make some money in the process, that cuts us off at the knees. And then we got this problem out there where it's proven that there are AI-generated or royalty-free songs, whichever one, that are being produced and stuck into sections on playlists that are a little more of the chill ambient stuff. I'm not going to lie. I don't think metal would necessarily be affected by that. But there's songs that Spotify does not have to pay to an artist because they are either generated themselves or they paid a producer a one-time fee, and they're sticking them in these limited slots and playlists, taking those slots in the playlist from actual artists that are trying to get on there. So even when people are like, well, don't do it for the money, do it for the vanity numbers because that's what's going to get you shows booked and everything like that. And it's like, are you kidding me? Friggin' now with slots being taken up on Spotify playlists, like there's even the vanity numbers are hard to come by. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay. Well, I think one of the strong complaints across the board from songwriters and artists is that they are not being paid what they should for streaming revenue. And obviously, one of the other updates is that, well, you don't get paid at all unless your song has at least 1,000 streams on it. Marketing has always been such a pain point.
Well, like I said, it's also 300. It's also 300. It's 1,000 streams within 365 days. Blood Metal Alliance, how you doing, sir? Good evening. I just finished up a hour and a half session on a new song, getting a skeleton together, and I figure I'll cap off the evening with a little reaction because I feel like this is pretty relevant music industry news, and you can probably hear my rants on this whole thing.
Right? That Spotify put into place. So what Spotify tried doing is Spotify announced, it's like, hey, we're permitted to do this, right, lawfully, in that we're going to reduce the royalties by adding more into the pool. Because what we're going to do is we're going to bundle some people who are listening to music. And so the reason why the Mechanical Licensing Collective, had a fit about this and then actually sued Spotify is because they're like, you're trying to use a loophole to do this thing when really all you're doing is you're like adding in, 2 seconds of listening to something else and calling it a bundle. It's not a bundle. So that's what's going on. But what they're celebrating here is they're like, oh, it's so great.
You know what the sad part is? The Mechanical Royalties Collective, or the group that she mentioned, that is supposed to be collecting royalties for songwriters and everything. They lost that lawsuit. It's ridiculous. I'm really good, thanks. How about you? I'm doing well. I mean, I sound kind of fired up, but I promise it's just in response to, what's going on here. I had some fun putting together a song, and I'm really excited for the new release that's going to be coming out that I have. First single is going to come out in March, but it's going to be a little more towards the middle of the year when the new release comes out. And I'm really excited for that. Got most of the promotional promotional materials together. So I'm really excited about that.
Universal Publishing is going to get more of these royalties, and like the bundle thing, not going to be a problem. So I just go through this, and guys, I'm really curious for kind of your take on this, because I go, well, sounds to me, and my understanding is that this is preferential treatment to Universal. And we kind of do that anyway, right? Major.
Who is she? This is the channel name is Top Music Attorney. She is also an artist, so she's an attorney and an artist. She goes by Miss Crystal. And she does a lot of stuff like on music industry stuff, and has a lawyer perspective. She has a perspective from multiple angles from like what's going on in the music industry. So as far as who's got their finger on the pulse of what's going on, she's one of the few folks that I go to whenever it comes to things that are moving and shaking within the industry. And yeah, that's important information to know, because folks like me, if I'm going to have a chance at getting stuff out there and navigating the whole interweb sort of space, then it'd be nice to stay informed.
Your record labels, stakeholders in Spotify, that they're going to get special treatment. Drake was alleging this, right? In his allegations having to do with boosting of the song's popularity and this and that, just being like, no, like, there's preferential treatment, there's side deals and all the stuff going on. So they talk about basically how they're going to do higher tiers. So there's going to be like super premium tiers for people to subscribe to. And here's the thing. I think they've been watching our videos. Universal and Spotify, as part of this deal, are going to be doing direct to fan model of making money. So they're not just going to rely on streaming anymore. So we're looking at this business plan that they put together. Let me show you guys. All right, so in the business plan here, we can kind of just scroll through. We see all kinds of famous faces And this is something that they actually present, right? They've been presenting to their investors. So they go, guys, this is the future. Okay. So we are basically going to focus on super fandom to accelerate our economics, aka to make more money. So we go, how can we apply this to you? Let's learn from the best. How can we apply this to you and your music career? Well, let's take a look. So this was, obviously we're in the beginning of 2025 now. So this was the 2024 investor presentation. So they go, we're going to focus on the monetization, and this is what we're going to do.
I like how that said streaming is a quantum leap forward in music consumption, basically summing up that point. It's streaming that ultimately devalued music all the more because the law of supply and demand. Because, like, just think about it in terms of simple economics. At the time whenever music was just relegated to we get from a store, then that was a limited amount of ways that you could enjoy music that also was restricted in access. And so the law of supply and demand, there was some scarcity built into that. And therefore, the value of music was, historically about around $20 for an album, give or take, and depended on the format, of course. But as far back as the 90s, a CD would have been $20. You fast forward to the 2000s when Napster happened and all of these other torrent downloading sites and everything like that. Well, then you have the problem of, now music's going digital, because then once piracy was combated with with online digital retailers, then that means that now music is more accessible and infinitely more copied than how it was when it was just restricted to physical media. So the problem with that is the scarcity that made music relatively more valuable at the time whenever, we're talking like 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Well, now that's gone away. The only thing that's helping it retain its value is the fact that, digital music was only to be bought at, certain retailers. And so that kind of helped retain its value a little bit, but because it went digital, the move to digital cut the value of the album in half. And then streaming takes over 10 to 15 years later. And then, that makes it to where now music is even more accessible and more copyable. And now, as far as royalty rates and everything, it was always about the same, give or take, amount, the third of a cent to a cent per play. That was always about the royalty rate for interactive music consumption. But, now it's $10 subscription, and it's not moving the needle at all in terms of, music that generates money. James Nelson, how you doing, man? I remember when that was a big battle with Napster. Yeah, don't tell nobody, but I was a LimeWire guy. But it's like, it says here that's on that previous slide that streaming was a quantum leap forward for music consumption. It was great for the consumer, I guess. It wasn't for us artists.
We are going to look at all the different platforms, right? So over the years, starting from 2013 all the way through to 2024, when this was presented, we have more platforms. We have evolved because now we also have social media, right? We even have WhatsApp. And so we have all these places that we're going to be focusing on monetizing. And the way that we're going to do that is through super fans. So in the 60s to the 90s, the super fan passion was evident at midnight in that people would line up the streets, right? We're ready to get back to, we had people who actually invested in the artist and, for example, bought merch, went to shows, supported in any way that they could. And what happened is that, over time, we've had just a flattening of just a focus on streaming. And making revenue now through ancillary things like merchandise has become more and more important. And so Universal itself is saying this in its investor presentation. All right, so they go, look.
So let me get this straight. Direct to consumer, which is how the music industry was started to begin with, is now the future. It sounds like everything is just going back to probably how it was in the 90s. That's the pipe dream I have, but it kind of sounds like everything's going that way. Everything from 90s aesthetics to the simplicity of video games to some some sounds that are being used within music. And now the business models seem to be going back to the same.
Look at this pie. In the pie, we have all the ways that musicians make money. We have publishing, digital downloads, licensing, merch, physical sales, ad-supported streaming, paid subscription streaming. So they go, we basically are continuing to grow, and we're going to focus on really the 360 deal. We're going to monetize and make money from everything.
Oh God, shoot me now. In freaking in a book called Music, Money, and Success. It was written by a pair of twin brothers. I know their last name's Brabeck. I can't remember their first names. But they're a pair of lawyers that also were heads at ASCAP. So they know what they're talking about. And it was basically that book's how you can navigate the music industry more than anything else. And the 360 deal sounds like a friggin' nightmare. It's like you're propped up on the shoulders of the industry and everything, and they pay for everything, but you get nothing. Nothing that you do. No concerts, no merch, no music sales or anything like that goes to you. It all goes to the label, but they'll just fund a career for you to basically survive and tour and everything like that. So long as you're in a deal with them, you'll be fine. You'll be in big trouble and with a big rack of debt as soon as you're getting out of the deal, but you're good for at least the time that you're in that deal. Yeah, sounds like a terrible idea.
So we are innovating and developing products and experiences to give super fans more opportunities to engage. So I go, okay, so what does this mean practically?
So this is what independent artists have been trying to do forever while they've been trying to compete with the big dogs. Funny how they're like kind of copying off of us.
This means that if they're doing a deal with Spotify, that they're going to make these kind of paid superfan tiers inclusive of the DIY model, right? Which independent artists use right now, which is we're going to ascend them into not just more products, but also experiences, right? So how can we actually connect fans with the artists? But in the vacuum of Universal Lands, the reason why we love this and it works so well for independent artists is because you guys are the ones that benefit from this. You guys are the ones that make the money from.
Yeah, okay, so are you saying that we make money off of this model that UMG and Spotify is going to be
doing digital downloads,
okay,
right? Doing something special, doing handwritten lyrics, having merchandise by monetizing not just your music, but the other things that are ancillary for you to connect to your fans and have extra things that they can buy and experiences that they can pay for. This is how you can have a meaningful 6-figure music career where you can comfortably live off of what you do in the entertainment industry. And now we have one of the biggest record labels in the world saying this is their plan. Music is universal. There's a whole lot of listening that's happening at top, right? So they go through and they're like, we have some of the top musicians across the board, across the world. Universal is consistently home to the world's best-selling recording artists. Okay, so they go through year after year. And then, of course, we have all of our imprints.
Yeah. Old punk bands were DIY. Yep. I love the DIY ethos, man. And the environment that those genres that typically lean on that, the environments they foster, you just can't beat them. They're awesome.
And so we have a strong record of success, right? They're using the B, right? The billion. All right, so in their innovation, they go, look at this. We have this curve over time, starting from 1999 through 2023. And so we can see the yellow This is the streaming. We see streaming, right? Lot more, lot more. And we see that, for example, digital downloads had a nice little spike, but those are also on the decline. So they go, as we are focusing now and seeing where the trends the most. Okay, so they're going to drive growth in streaming, they're going to unlock super fandom, and they're going to empower a broader ecosystem. Now, we saw this coming, okay, because we saw that distributors and labels were starting to pick up on this whole DIY and why it works so well. And that's why we want to focus on it, for purposes of today. It's like Universal doing another deal with Spotify, coming up with these tiered things. We're concerned about it, right? What does that mean? Like, does that mean for a super premium, the algorithm's going to shift? Does that mean that there's preferential treatment now for the Universal artists, and so everyone else is going to get crushed?
Probably.
But it doesn't change that the DIY system is the thing that works, and it works so well that now the biggest labels in the world are applying it to what they're going to be doing, and that they are doing this year. And I don't know, to a degree, I'm kind of wondering if this is, I don't know, labels like trying to give the illusion that they really are for the artists because they're trying to create more of these experiences. But at the end of the day, I'm just wondering how much is the label. The label is entitled.
Yeah, so that, I think that pretty much takes care of it. But it's like, I feel the same way, because it's like, what is actually going to be in it for the artist? And this is, not only is it a concern that I have, but it's one of those things that, like, we tried so hard, us independent folks, to try and play by the rules that basically the industry set. I personally am a fan of being on Spotify. I'm on there because that's where that is a leading touch point for people to be able to discover your music with. And if you play the game, then there's the chance that more people can discover you and, be reeled in and do more than just, stream your music, but actually, buy a CD from you and all that other stuff. But it's like, there's so many bones I have to pick with Spotify, and Spotify specifically, because Apple Music and Amazon Music and so forth, I don't have near as many problems with those as I do with Spotify, because they're so, Spotify cut royalties to people who have less than 1,000 streams in a calendar year. So it's like, I'm already seeing a massive decline in what was available and what royalties I've been getting. I have, I never once have been on a editorial playlist, and I'm not entitled to that, but now it's confirmed that there are slots being taken up by songs that Spotify just sticks in there that are royalty free, that they don't have to pay. And now even the vanity numbers are harder to come by. It's something I don't like being on there, and I've tried so hard to work on that, and then suddenly, like, what I'm concerned about is that when things shift on Spotify, and so Spotify basically becomes music social media, it encourages a couple of things. One, it's probably going to encourage music to become more disposable, and people write songs for the moment rather than songs to endure for all time and to speak to people in the situations that we all deal with. The only place where I'm optimistic about this is that if the industry as a whole is adopting the DIY model and is going to be emphasizing physical sales, and that's going to be brought to the biggest music consumption platform on the planet, then maybe that'll encourage people's consumption to go to physical media, and, it would have people inclined to engage directly with people's music as opposed to just casually streaming it. Because that's not going to be something, unfortunately, we'll be able to get away from, is the people who are just casual listeners. But that, unfortunately, that was always the case. You're always going to have people that'll casually listen to your music, whether it be on streaming, radio, whatever, That was always the case. But the trends have certainly encouraged people's consumption habits in a way that for a long time have made it to where artists have to work 10 times harder for about 1.5 times more of what they could have. And so, I mean, I'm going to continue to grind, and I'm going to try to not stress myself out and burn out in the midst of trying to balance a job, a home life, and all of these things. But that seems to be what is going on in the industry itself. And, you know, I'm not sure what this could end up being. At the end of the day, I trust the Lord to get my songs in front of people who need to hear them. And my prayer is that their hearts are touched by the message, and they're touched by the gospel that is contained within those songs and the spiritual truths that I touch on. And then, you know, for when it comes to building a career, I hope that it isn't too long before I'm able to, you know, build an audience that can allow me to go full time and everything with this. But it's past 8, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on here. I know there were people that were popping in and out at different times. But thank you guys for joining me, and I'll have uploads about this later. I'm going to try to chop this up into some smaller bite-sized videos. And thank you for everybody who's watching this after the fact as well. Sunday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time are going to be the new times for me to stream. And since we're on the topic of supporting artists, if you're able to, I know we're all struggling right now, but if you're able to, places to go that are the most beneficial that you can help to support what I do, support the channel, and so forth, are my website, firebrand.site, my Bandcamp. You can just type in Firebrand, F-Y-R-E-B-R-A-N-D, and you'll find me there as well. And my website and my Bandcamp are interconnected, so if you find one, you'll find the other. And then consider joining the Fire Tribe, which is my Patreon fan club. And what the benefits are is, like, you'll have $10. It'll be $10 a month. I think I still have a $5 easy access tier, but I want to just kind of make it to where the $10, because that's what most people go for. But the $10 a month, you'll not only be able to get to see behind the scenes stuff that only my crew and my label get to see. You get to hear songs in progress, demos, you get to see promotional materials before everybody else does. But you also get my albums, digital downloads of my albums at no extra charge, all of my past, present, and future albums. And you'll also get discount codes for my online store and a bunch of other different things that are benefits to being part of the Fire Tribe. So consider joining on that if you'd like to. Whatever you decide to do, I appreciate it. And if you need to talk about anything, or if you're curious, you have questions, drop me a line. I will always respond at some point in time. But thank you guys so much for your support. Love you all, and until next week, Firebrand